and welcome to Broker Tools, where we unpack the tools, systems, and strategies that help brokers optimize the way they work. I'm Katie, your host, and today we are catching up with Michael from Cynario. Cynario is the platform designed to help brokers model, analyze, and stress test financial scenarios, giving you a deeper insight into deals, cash flow, and risk before you commit. In this episode, we are going to explore how Cynario's AI-enabled tools are helping brokers make smarter decisions faster. From policy research and comparison analysis to showing you lender options that you may have not considered, if you want to move beyond spreadsheets and gut feeling decisions into data-driven AI supported deal structuring, then this conversation is for you. Michael, welcome to the pod.
What an introduction. My gosh, we've got a lot to live up to with that. All right, no pressure. Yeah.
It's all true.
It is true. Absolutely true. Well, I hope I live up to the truth. Let's see how we go.
Which is, I guess, the thing, because before we started doing the pod part, we always have like a before chat, and we were really talking about the entrepreneurial journey that everybody goes on before they start building out their thing. What was your entrepreneurial journey into Cynario?
Well, I guess COVID, which is an interesting, subject for a lot of people, but COVID is probably the reason why Cynario is here, or why I've done Cynario. So COVID forced me to pivot out of another company that I had, didn't really align with COVID, and it brought me into finance. I'd always had an interest in it, never had the time. Like a lot of people, COVID gave us a lot of time. So I came into mortgage broking 2021, new to industry, no experience, very excited and ready to go. And then it found myself spinning my wheels a lot, trying to understand policy, learn policy, lenders change the policy. And like we were talking about earlier on finding different solutions, my ears pricked up. AI had sort of just started to come out. ChatGPT was obviously leading the way. And I had a very naive idea that I could sort of build something to help my journey to write some deals, understand policy. And that is now transported from that into an enterprise grade platform. I haven't written alone in about 3 years, and now we're well away with Cynario and working with lenders. It's exciting.
Yeah, and to add to the excitement, the reason you and I are talking is because you were added into Salestrekker, and Heather and I had a conversation about how you were popped into there.
Yes, yeah, no, it was very exciting. So we started working on it, trying to keep it as quiet as we could. It's sort of like 3/4 of the way through last year, but yeah, really excited. And I'm sort of very passionate about working or looking at what other platforms are doing, and rather than trying to keep on rebuilding the wheel, it's like, how can platforms sort of work together in a more cohesive manner to improve the outcomes for brokers. And it was a natural progression between us and Salestrekker, that if we're now looking to do policy research, doing it in an environment that puts it right inside the client's, like the client file. Brokers don't have to come off Salestrekker and come back in. It creates a smoother, faster experience. So I was really excited about that integration. It's going really well.
Yeah, and I guess for those who are not coming from the podcast with Heather and learning what Salestrekker is, it is a CRM platform that helps brokers capture their lead and management process. But in that process, after the fact finds, then if you're looking for a lender policy, that's where Cynario can help you.
That's right. So within Salestrekker, it's called Policy AI. So Salestrekker, and I won't steal their thunder, are releasing a number of different AIs throughout their CRM. We're like working with them closely on the policy sort of AI as a chat interface within Salestrekker. So they can activate it within the platform, use it within the platform, and we just power it from all the data intelligence in the back end.
Nice. And this is really mostly specific to the resi mortgage space for lender policy?
Yeah, it is. I'll say currently, it's amazing to think that Cynario launched 8 months ago, and where we've come in sort of eight or 9 months has been astronomical. What we're doing now, we couldn't do when we first started. So yes, we are focused towards residential at the moment. However, we are sort of to build out into asset, looking at commercial. Commercial is an interesting beast, given how grey and I guess limited some of the policy is in the commercial space. But I think what we're looking at is whether AI is the right tool to help brokers, and if we can bring AI into it, then we will certainly look at solutions that can build out different opportunities.
Yeah, and of course we will have to nail one before we expand.
Correct. exactly. Run before you can. Is it walk? No, walk before you can run. I feel at the moment we're running before we're walking. It's AI is moving so quickly that every time we come up with a new concept or a new product idea that we're sort of developing, it's that we've already got 3 more that we're thinking of. It's a exciting space to be in, but no rest for the wicked.
Which is, I guess, the exciting part, because you're never going to rest because there's always something going on. When it comes to the data side of it, because I guess that's the next main concern when people have AI, is how it's going to either take my job or my client's data. How am I safe?
Yeah, data security is really big. Within the policy space, we're fortunate that we don't need any PII data or personally identifiable information within the platform for it to run. And I think that's a really big key. But also something across any tech platform that a broker's using is to really think about what data they're providing and then how that platform is using that data. Is it sovereign? Is it staying in Australia? Where's it hosted? Is it being deleted? I think there's now a lot of hype around AI, similar to social media. When Facebook and Instagram first came out, we were all very excited to throw all our photos up onto the platforms. And then the penny dropped that now they have all of our photos up on their platform. And in a similar way with security and data, is really thinking about how platforms are using the data that you're providing. As I say, for us, because we're dealing with the lender data, so it was more on their side more than anything else, is that they've been asking us, like, well, right, how are you hosting our data? What are you doing to our data? So we've got very strict protocols on the back end, and we're fortunate that lenders are comfortable with what we're doing.
Nice. And so ultimately, when it comes to lender research, when a broker is coming in, are they entering data? I mean, for all intents and purposes, Cynario is a standalone product. It does not have to have Salestrekker as part of it. It's just a beautiful integration that has been made available to those who do have Salestrekker.
Exactly. Yeah, correct.
And so if someone was coming straight into Cynario, what would they do?
Well, probably easiest way is I could probably show you if I can remember how to share my screen. Okay. So this is the platform as a broker would come into it, and within the platform, and we can touch on both. We've got policy research with residential, and now we've also launched out our automated marketing suite as well through another AI. We've given both our AIs different personas. So we have Charlie, which is residential policy, and Alex that looks after marketing. And the reason we did looked at the personas was more around how brokers engage with AI. I think AI has come to market so quickly that not many people really know how to engage with generative AI to get the answers that they need. So when we first did a pilot, we just had a logo, and some of the questions that brokers were asking were, in their defense, they didn't know, were horrible. Like best home loan was one that came in. And of course, AI will always give you an answer, but that's not even a question you could ask a BDM. So when we brought personas into it, it was, hey, Charlie, can you tell me the difference between X and Y? Or, hey, Charlie, what's Bendigo Bank's policy on X? So it became a lot more conversational, which is what large language models need to perform. So as an example, if we go, what lenders, and I can always struggle to spell sometimes. So pretty simple. Most brokers will know this. But effectively, what we do is the AI will go away, hit all the lenders, and then come back. So the idea behind the platform isn't necessarily to provide you with that specific one lender. It won't provide credit advice. It's about providing guidance. And this is where sort of it came from me being new to industry, is how can I take my lender panel of 30, 40, however many lenders, and narrow that search faster to find the lenders that will meet the policy, the lending criteria for a client. Before getting into rates and everything else, if it doesn't meet policy, it's not going to be a deal. And how we've sort of built this, and I know there's a lot of talk around hallucinations with data within AI, and it was a massive learning curve when I first came up with the idea, because I'm not techie. I have a lot of the big ideas, but I can't cut. So when how we built out the system now is we isolate all the lender data within the system. So if you ask a question about Suncorp, for instance, it will not give you an answer back on, say, Bank West. So we've isolated the data in a way that now we can start to sort of produce sort of comparison tables without those hallucinations. So that sort of gives an idea on sort of how they can use the system, and it can be across anything, all residential. our biggest sort of, I guess, challenge and what we're working directly with lenders is optimizing their data. For a lot of lenders, the majority of lenders, this is really the first time that AI has been overlaid over their data in more of a comprehensive way than, say, a chatbot, which is effectively scraping PDFs and putting an AI layer over the top. We've got multiple ingestion techniques in the back end to really optimize the data and structure it in a way to get the most out of it. So from a lender perspective, a lot of lenders are now starting to realize that a lot of the data within their broker portals actually need to provide more. We had a case right at the beginning when we launched where a broker asked which lenders will allow me to write my own home loan as a broker. And I won't name the lender, but out of all the lenders on the platform, there was only one lender that actually has it written into their policy that, yes, we do reach out to the BDM to discuss it. So it's not necessarily that the platform is bad if it comes back with one lender. In a lot of cases, it doesn't have the data in the system, and it's not making it up, which is really good. But our biggest focus now is to go back to lenders and go, right, the more data you can provide into the platform, the more comprehensive answer a broker is going to get, the better the deal submission they're going to provide, and so forth. So it works across the entire ecosystem versus it's just policy research. It's got a far broader sort of appeal.
Yeah, and it's really about providing opportunities that you may not have thought of because the data is there to support it.
Yeah, and we found that sort of when we were running some pilots, that's sort of been, we're now probably October 24. We're running some pilots with a group of brokers and a cross section of sort of inexperienced brokers like me, and then some very high level experienced brokers, and even the experienced ones were finding lenders within the platform that they'd never worked with before, didn't know their policy before. One which I'd have loved to have got a snippet of the commission on it, but found a deal for a client that he was going to flag, but by putting it into the system, found a lender that could actually do it within their policy. So it's a real education piece, and it's also providing a lot more visibility to lenders outside of their standard distribution channels within an aggregator, because we are aggregator agnostic. We're solely for broker, working with lenders, but we're not aligned to any particular aggregator.
Yeah, and having, I guess, this whole non-aggregator service means that I call it aggregator agnostic. So,
Oh, that word.
It doesn't matter what kind of broker belief you come from. It all, like, this type of service works for you.
Yeah, and I think being agnostic is important. We don't allow lenders to sponsor the platform, for instance. We put the onus back in terms of how lenders are presented. This is probably a prime case of, like, why is Suncorp above Bank West? It's not alphabetical. We don't allow lenders to sponsor the platform. It is based on how contextually relevant their data is to the question. So, for example, the better the data we have in the system from the lenders will support a better output, which will rank them higher. So there's no way for a lender to come and sponsor the platform to be number one. I feel if we did that, we have a direct conflict about what we're providing for brokers. So it is definitely a for broker platform, and I feel that's important for anyone in AI, any platform, to really own that. In terms of if it's broker related, it has to be neutral.
And when people are using this outside of this, what else do you take them through?
In terms of from a policy or other products within the platform?
Well, I guess this is really all about the journey that a person might go through. So obviously you'll come in, do your scenario, pick a lender that works for you. Is there anything else that somebody else might be doing within Cynario to support their business and growth?
Yes, probably. So our latest release takes it completely away from policy, actually, and into more marketing, which has been to sort of build that out. I will say on the policy side, and where it works well with someone like Salestrekker, is to be able to continue that workflow from a policy in terms of client information, identify the lender, and then you can sort of build that workflow. So I feel that's where integrations work really well. If we sidebar and go to, say, let's go for marketing. So very, very easy. We've got Alex and Charlie. I'll do one, but I'll show you quite a cool one that I did just before, which is it. Okay. So what we've built out, and this is good. So this was AI generated. What are we now? Probably about an hour ago. I did this one just before we jumped on. So what we were looking at is how can we leverage AI to improve workflows. And as I was saying, I was new to industry coming in. One thing I did notice is marketing is something that is exceptionally difficult for a lot of brokers. Not only in trying how to market, but also having the time to do it. So we were thinking, how can we sort of bring that into the platform? So within Cynario now, a broker can link all of these platforms directly to Cynario. So Instagram, their Facebook page, LinkedIn page, Google Business, and website. Within the brand settings, actually, I'll show you this. Let's have a look at this. Yeah. So within the brand settings, they can add in their a primary and secondary brand color. They can add in the logo, and then the crazy one is they can also add in their profile image
nice.
if they want. And then from there, we can generate customized content. Now, in the back end of the system, we've also integrated the ACCC's Financial Products and Services Marketing Guidelines. Quite a mouthful, but because that is something I've seen a lot on socials. Is some of the things that brokers post might not necessarily be that compliant. Instead of over-promising. So we put in a compliance layer. Obviously, it's still on the broker to check it.
Human in the loop.
Sorry?
We call it like human in the loop in the tech world.
Yeah, always. And it's a massive thing. I look at AI from an 80-20 perspective. Is if I could get AI to sort of do 80% of the grunt work up front, and then there is a 20% human oversight to make this work, then I feel that's where it is. Anyone that wants AI to just take over everything 100%, I think they're asking for problems down the line. But yeah, so what we can do, so we can create all the content. It changes the content slightly as well, because your audience is slightly different on Facebook as it is to Instagram. So it'll slightly tweak the wording based on the audience. Google Business Profile, heavily underutilized by brokers, I feel, in terms of sort of building organic ratings through Google. So we managed to API into there. And then the other really cool one is it does a long form article, which then they can instantly publish to their website through WordPress. And I think the reason that that's good is in terms of just organic SEO. So the more content you're actually providing, keeping the website active, the better. And it sort of builds out full articles. That's not a bad image of me sitting in front of the Sydney Opera House. They can also edit the content. So if they want to edit anything, put in different call to actions, change hashtags, or that sort of thing. And then the other quiet thing, let's try it and see what happens. So if I click here, I can regenerate it and go make it nighttime. And then I love doing live demonstrations, but I got no idea what's going to happen. But the idea of building regeneration, so you can sort of tweak the image if you like as well. Obviously, image generation, this is something that we couldn't do, like 6 months ago. We were playing with it, and it was just the time it would take. But there we go. So now I'm down at Darling Harbour at nighttime.
Nice.
So it's a way that you could, because it does across multiple platforms, they literally can hit a button and it will automatically post to Instagram, Facebook, or all the different platforms as they sort of go through. They can also download the image as well, so they can create their own image library to have on their computer, and they can also copy the content as well if they prefer just text content. So we're thinking, how can we leverage AI to make brokers' lives easier? And it's been exciting with the marketing side, because obviously policy's definitely down the I guess client solution, but now marketing sort of starts to step into, well, this is now becoming a business solution as well. A lot more fun. So that's our latest. There's we're working on a few other projects in the background that we may have to, I think, do another podcast to talk through. But this is our latest release that we're sort of building. And no, not video yet. I have got asked quite a few times, are we doing video? Not yet, but but the word "yet" seems to come up a lot in what I say. So,
well, it's more important to beta test and thoroughly check it, because, as we all know, AI makes mistakes.
Yes, yeah,
and you're in the finance industry. Like, this is not the zone to have
and which is
3 arms.
Well, it's fun. Like on the policy side, it's why we've actually hard coded out interest rates from lenders, because I feel at the moment I feel interest rates belong sort of on the aggregator platforms with everything, and we're relying on lender rate cards to come through. And as you say, if it misses a comparison rate, or we can start getting into that grey area of, are we providing guidance or are we providing like credit advice? So importantly, whilst we're trying to get more data around, say, product information, from an interest rate perspective, we've held back off that. AI has certainly got the capability, but it's more, we've got to be sort of careful about where we sit in terms of from like compliance and guidance and advice and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I guess would that affect, I guess, credit analyst type roles? Because can you do a workshop, a scenario?
Well, it's interesting because now we're actually, I guess, moving from what we're doing for brokers is now we're actually building out AI for lenders. So now that we've sort of, before a lender comes on platform, we set up an isolated environment, we ingest all their data, and then we give it back to them to stress test, mainly because we want them to realize about sort of what's missing, what we can improve on to make it more comprehensive for brokers. But where that's led to now is now lenders going, well, if you're already managing and hosting our data and we're comfortable with that, could you provide us with a solution to help our BDM teams and our credit teams? So we're in the process of building out, I can't say who at the moment, but we're in the process of building out core lenders to help, I guess, broker channel from that side of the ecosystem as well. Because we've got Cynario now for brokers, but then some brokers are still, say, going to rely on their BDM and a callback. But if we can sort of pull that technology to make to help a BDM response time, then that improves it from that side as well. So it's really, as we were talking about before, how fragmented the industry can be. Yeah, we're really looking at and now and sort of how can we leverage AI to actually sort of start to bring those pieces of the puzzle together.
Nice. Yeah. And so I guess from a credit analyst point of view, you're always going to need a human in the loop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We're definitely not, and I say this to lenders, definitely not looking to like how we can replace a team. It's how can we enrich and empower the team that's there and increase productivity. Because I was talking to a lender last week and I said, well, how does your credit team currently manage this? I said, well, a deal comes in and they're literally going through their higher level PDF to sort of make sure it fits. That's not an efficient way to scale an organization, and why SLAs can continually blow out. So it's not necessarily right, and we're going to bring in a solution that's going to replace that team. So we're going to bring in a solution that's going to make that team 5x or 6x their productivity, which is therefore going to improve your business outcome. So yeah, definitely more about empowering than replacement.
Which is, I guess, the gift of what all is happening within AI. If you were to, I guess, address what's happening in the future of Cynario and, I guess, AI, what would you say is happening next?
So much. Where to start? And the scary part, as we spoke about before, is in terms of what we can actually do now. And then if we had this conversation in 4 months' time, be like, oh my gosh, now we can do this. I see it really as a efficiency and productivity. I think are two ways, and they're definitely thrown around a lot, and it's the sales buzzword with AI. But I feel that's where AI can really start to sort of make headway within the mortgage industry, especially. You've got consumers and customers that are expecting insights faster. It's getting more and more competitive within the broker channel. So I see any brokers that start to adopt and adapt into AI technology are going to be so far ahead in a few years' time. Similar to what happened, I think, with econ. When it was brick and mortar stores and then econ came in, there was a certain group that embraced it and ran with it and now have very successful businesses. And then there's other ones that went, no, brick and mortar, and this is just a fad, and they're not here anymore. And I see that's where AI is going to take this, is people that get on board. It doesn't have to be in huge ways. And I think we touched on this before we came on live, is sort of the amount of apps and the amount of hype around technology, and then it becoming almost all too hard because you don't know where to start. And I think that sort of dip the toe in the water, whether that's Cynario, whether that's HubSpot, whatever platform it is sort of understanding what it can provide and just starting with something. And then the flow on will be a natural progression. For the ones that don't, you're a brick and mortar store. It's technology is going to run away.
Yeah, and with time it happens. I guess my favorite recommendations for people who are beginning in any kind of CRM or AI automation process is to just clean up your workflow, like as in start at the beginning of how do you get a lead in and manage that particular lead. And this is where Cynario works best, because you'll probably have gathered some data already from your client about what their personal circumstances are, what the goals they're trying to have, and then you can already do the pre-research in Cynario around that type of lender policy that might already match. And then you go back into your CRM, obviously update your notes, you know, because, you know, data matters. But then all the automation, people are throwing around the word AI and automations, and they're syncing them together. But I did a separate video on AI automations, so if anybody wants to watch that, go for it. But it's that part where if you just do some of the simple things at the beginning, you can just speed up with time.
Oh, incredibly over time. As you say, once if your workflow is out of sync, it doesn't matter how many apps you bring in or how many how much technology is it will not. It'll probably hinder more than anything else if you haven't got your actual workflow down pat. Instantly on that with sort of broker notes and things, something you can do within Cynario is when I come down here. So I'm just moving things around. You can actually download a copy of the chat history. So in terms of from a broker note perspective, is you can do this, download it, and it's PDF time-stamped, which then you can insert straight into your sort of CRM broker notes. So we're trying to, as I say, from those workflow efficiencies, it's like, well, that's where we can sort of start to help. It's like, you've done your research, here are the lenders into your CRM, which is where it works nicely, obviously, with 2.0.
Perfect. And do you have other integrations that you work with?
We're working on a few at the moment. Unfortunately, I've got NDAs in place at the moment, so I can't say too much. But, the reason that we've built this as a proprietary platform is we're 100% API capable. It's obviously a limitation from, say, a traditional like chatbot, because you don't own the tech. You're sort of just relying on another platform. Whereas everything we did and built is ours. So we are like talking to some other players in the industry about how we could potentially provide API integrations in, because I think it's a natural pathway. And I'm not scared, even from us talking to other platforms, if they've got a solution that sort of meets into our workflow that helps brokers, there's nothing to say that we wouldn't integrate into Cynario either. I think that's where technology is a wonderful thing, is that we've got the ability to really start to hone in and reduce that fragmentation across the industry.
Nice. I'm always a fan of a webhook. Do you know what I mean? Like hit a button and anyway,
they're definitely a fun thing.
What is there anything else you wanted to go over or show?
Gosh, I'm trying to think now. Look, the marketing side is probably most the I guess our latest sort of release. You know, policy is something we're building on. I do get asked a lot in terms of what lenders are on platform. All the majors are on, and we are sort of in the process now of onboarding more across different panels. So that's hopefully coming over the next few weeks. There'll be some major announcements with some other lenders dropping into the platform.
Nice.
Importantly, we sales pitch, 21-day free trial, no credit card. I'd much prefer brokers to actually get on, try it, experience it with no risk. That's an important part of what we're doing. Is building out a platform that is actually going to work. I love feedback. From brokers, and good and bad. Good feedback, nice. It's good for my ego, but if we don't get the hard truth feedback, whether there's an issue with lender data that like there's something not right, that's what helps us to improve the system. And the really cool tech, which is only available in Cynario, is the ability to email. You can email our AI versus even coming onto the platform. So we spent 2.5 years building this out, this beautiful platform. And again, about workflows, we're going, well, one thing that I'm noticing, especially attending a lot of the conferences, around app fatigue, because I've come in saying, right, you need Cynario for policy, and then you need your CRM platform for this, and there's all the broker portals. So we looked at it and went, well, how can we actually bring that back into what a broker's already using? So now, instead of coming onto a platform, a broker can email our AI, just like that email a BDM, ask the same question they would in platform, and get a response within 60 seconds back to their inbox. And then they can communicate just like they would with the BDM over email.
Nice.
Record of it. So that's Charlie at Cynario.ai. If any brokers want to try that technology out there, welcome to. But that's a really cool feature that we sort of built out for that.
I love it. Yeah. So obviously we've spoken a lot about policy, but again, your other key feature is marketing. Did you want to go over some of those cool? I mean, obviously we've talked about the chat marketing, how you can do the AI integrations and have images created, but then there's this other part, I think.
Yes. So you could probably going on the website as well. So if this will give a sort of a better idea from a website perspective. So we talked about sort of social media platforms and we able to do Instagram and Facebook. What it can do, everything on this page is completely AI generated through Cynario. Every image, every blog article. So this is where it can become exceptionally powerful from a website perspective to start build, I guess, digital authority. And especially from an organic SEO perspective, the more you're updating your website and keeping it live with content, the better the rankings as well. So this is something that we built in, currently only available for WordPress websites. We are working on the other platforms as well. It's just how good their APIs are. But this is something that, brokers can only do through Cynario, and it builds off the same image that the original sort of where's it gone?
Oh, so like the one that you had in your profile picture?
No, that's Charlie. That's one of our AIs, which I assure everyone is not real. As I have to keep reminding my wife a lot of.
Sorry, what I meant was in your platform when you went into your settings.
Oh yes, that one.
Photo, not the one.
No. Where are we? This one here. That one.
Yeah. So in your setting, you created a profile within Cynario. It takes the image from that. To generate these images here. So it takes my profile image, puts it here, and then also generates a bigger long form article with a larger image as well, which that then goes straight into the WordPress. So we are looking at other platforms and how we can bring, and I guess like cross mapping to other socials as well. These are the majors. Obviously, TikTok's more video focused. I'm not going to say we're not going to do video. It's more of at the moment it's a not yet. Not yet.
But it's fascinating how quickly, especially with likes of Nano Banana and some of the video models, it is fascinating what is being projected at the moment. Yeah, so watch this space. We'll have to do another podcast soon.
Yeah, always. If people want to learn more about Cynario and what you offer, where should they go and what should they do?
Okay, so here's the plug, Cynario.ai, kept it very simple, Cynario, play on words there, .ai. We are in the process of rebranding our entire website, so that will hopefully launch over the next few weeks. But that have all the information. It's got a live video so they can actually have a look at how the platform works. We haven't sped it up. All the videos on there are in real time. And then if they want to try, 21-day free trial, no credit card, full access on platform to Charlie for policy research, Alex, they can link up all their accounts and actually try that for 21 days as well. And provide the feedback. That's what we're here for. I think any platform in this space wants feedback. Feedback is what builds it and makes it better. Yeah,
nothing like it. Thank you, Michael, for joining us on this podChat. I really appreciate it. For those of you who are enjoying this conversation, if you do have comments, please feel free to put them down below. If you want us to host another podcast on something else, feel free to shout out. We will talk forever on AI. It's our jam.
Down that rabbit hole we go.
Oh my gosh, the rabbit holes we go down. Anyway, thanks again, Michael, for joining me. I appreciate you.
More than welcome. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.